how to convey sellers this is not the 2021 market, right? So what's really interesting is people are still living in last year's headlines, right? So there are two types of sellers right now. There are ones that are on the market and ones that are coming to the market. And we want to address how to speak with both of them. Number one, you need data points, right? What are the three key data points? Number one, you need to understand days on market, right? Number two, you need to pull comps and show when the homes were listed. Number three, you need to pull the comps and show what the interest rates where the homes were listed when they went into contract. Because people are going to be looking at sold dates, and that's not the parallel data that you want to have, right? Goal of this entire conversation is to get the seller in their own words to understand what the market is. Now, so if Wendy was my client, right, I would want to explain to her why days on market. Days on market can always tell you a trend, right? So if I'm sitting with her and she's a seller now that's coming to the market, I'm going to want to show her, number one, what are the average days on markets for properties that A, went into contract and B, sold over, like, I would say you want to collapse time as much as you can, 30 days. If you have enough data, then I'd go back 45, 60, the less, the better. And then you could show some active listings because there are a lot of price drops, right? We hear from our clients around the country, a lot of their clients are contacting them saying that people are dropping prices. Now you want to ask the seller, how many days did it take to sell that when this house was listed in whatever the time is? Have the seller ask the question. For the homes that are in contract, how many days are those to sell? Have them answer the question. Then you're going to want to go to the third part. Now for these active homes, how many days have they been on the market? Let them answer the question. Then you're going to ask them the next question. Are those more days or less days than what's previously been going on? Then they're going to tell you, no, it's more days. Great. Let's go back and look at the interest rates and how that potentially has impacted this trend. And if there are more days on market, does that mean people are getting higher prices, lower prices, or they're saying the same? Probably a little more, and they're probably going to say a little more negotiability, or I don't understand that. So do we all understand that? Let me get a couple head nods, right? So look, you got to remember, if someone's here and you need to get them through here, you need to ask them questions that walks them through this process so they get to your end destination. You can't explain this and say, you know what? Now here's how a lot of agents do this. They'll pull up the comps and they could say, and as you could see, these homes that were listed went into contract in 5 days. Now, these ones went into contract in 7 days. And now if you look at the active things, rates have gone up a lot. And now they're on the market for 10 or 12 days. So buyers ultimately are willing to pay less. They're waiting longer and there's higher negotiability. Like, this is literally what people tell people, right? Do you think a client can process all of that? Now, think about this logically. You're talking about active properties, when they were listed and how many days on market they were. Then you're going into contract. Then you're drawing a parallel to the current market and assuming that they come to a specific conclusion that properties are staying on the market longer and people are negotiating prices more, and you're not getting 15 offers. Now, do you think by asking them questions, you can get them there? 100%. Now, do you think if you explain or tell it to them, right? No telling, no explaining. Do you think they'll get it? Very unlikely. And if they do, you're going to talk about so many other things in the conversation, it's going to be overwhelming. Now, watch this. We made a chart here. Let me show you how this exactly works. Now, I would say to a seller, if a house is $1 million and say someone's borrowing $1 million, I'd say, how much did it cost the buyer to buy your house in January? They're going to say $4,200. And you're going to go through this February, March, April, May, June. And you're going to say, how much does it cost in July? And they're going to say $5,900. And you're going to say, based on that, how much more money does it cost a buyer to purchase your home today? They're going to say 15, roughly around $1,500, right? And you're going to say, has the Fed indicated that they're going to stop raising interest rates? The seller is going to say no. So you're going to say, all right, I've projected it. So far, it's been on average a 0.5% a month raise, if you average it out over the last 6 months. This is potentially at the same pace where we could be through the end of the year. Now, if you are seeing this and the cost of the same property continue to go up, at some point, what would you expect sellers to do? Put your answer in the chat. Now, I would say to a seller, if a house is $1 million and say someone's borrowing $1 million, I'd say, how much did it cost the buyer to buy your house in January? They're going to say $4,200. And you're going to go through this February, March, April, May, June. And you're going to say, how much does it cost in July? And they're going to say $5,900. And you're going to say, based on that, how much more money does it cost a buyer to purchase your home today? They're going to say roughly around $1,500, right? And you're going to say, has the Fed indicated that they're going to stop raising interest rates? The seller is going to say no. So you're going to say, all right, I've projected it. So far, it's been on average a 0.5% a month raise, if you average it out over the last 6 months. This is potentially at the same pace where we could be through the end of the year. Now, if you are seeing this and the cost of the same property continue to go up, at some point, what would you expect sellers to do? Put your answer in the chat. Okay, so do you see all the things? Stay in the property, great. Rent the property, great. So I would tell the sellers, we have a choice. Here, there's several different outcomes that's what's going to happen. In this scenario, there are 4 things that can happen, right? Number one, someone is going to set the market. Meaning at this point, someone is going to make the first change in the neighborhood that's substantial and set the market for all the other homes. Then the next group of people are going to follow that trend and they're going to follow the market. From there, the homes coming to the market or the ones that are still there are going to be left with the market. Those are the 3 different outcomes that could happen when you potentially see this graph going up like this based on buyer trends. Would you agree? They're going to say yes. Or the 4th one is, right, you can either rent your home, or number 5, you could stay in your home. Which one of these do you think works better for you? And you see what they say.